the devil's sleeping.
Should we open and unleash?
This is an 8.5% beer. Can you believe that?
No.
It's like the devil. And that's where that name Duvel comes from. Welcome back to another review. Alessandro, do you know what's special about this beer?
I don't know. I know that there are a few things that are, regarded as special and interesting. But
in regards to us, in regards to beer brackets, do you know what's special about this beer?
No. What's that?
This is the first beer that we're reviewing that neither of us have ever tried. This is the first one.
You are so right.
How has that never happened before? Never. That's crazy. So, and this isn't just any beer. This is a pretty historic, pretty popular Belgian beer. They call it one of the big three in Belgian beers. So it's up there and it's been around for a long time. The name Duvel actually has an interesting history to it. This beer used to be known as something else, which in Dutch meant the Victory Ale, I believe, or the Victory beer. Probably Victory Ale, I think, because it came after World War I. And so it was kind of a celebration of the end of World War I. And in the 1920s, there was a shoemaker who was tasting the beer, as it says, at a table along with some other notables in society. And he made a comment about how this beer was very devilish, or it was like the devil, because it was so strong and so high in alcohol content, but went down so smooth. So he called it's like the devil. And that's where that name Duvel comes from. It's actually a dialect of Dutch, which means devil. And they say on the outside of the brewery in Belgium, there's actually a slogan in red on the wall that means, shh, the devil's sleeping. And the devil resides inside every bottle of Duvel, just waiting to get you.
Should we open and unleash?
So yes, short answer, yes, we should open and unleash. Another thing I heard about this one, this is so exciting. We've never tried this. I have no idea what to expect, although I did read up on it a little bit. And they say that it has a ferociously large head to it. So I'm excited to see what that's all about. Crack them open.
Let's go, my friend. Let's go. I can't wait after this introduction. Wow.
That was a good introduction, right?
That was a great introduction.
So I'm using a different cap opener because we had to tear the house apart for a reason. Sorry, my friend.
You take your time. The important thing is that you open the beer. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
There we go. Whew.
Let's go.
As always, guys, recommend just pouring out about a third of the way up your glass to give yourself some room to stick your nose in there and get all those beautiful aromatics. Okay, if I would kind of describe that as a ferociously large head, that's about half of the beer in there in the glass. Guys, as always, we do recommend getting yourself a Duvel. Follow along with any of our reviews. Crack one open yourself, see what you think about the aroma, see what you think about the taste, about the finish, and judge it for yourself. It adds to the whole experience. Whoa, okay. Please, you go first. I want to know what you think about this one.
So, it strikes me strong, malt forward flavor. I do smell the classic yeasty banana clove kind of aroma coming through, but it's very brought up and held up by the the maltiness of the beer.
Yeah.
I do get also some hops, like a little bit more on the edge. It's not like immediately recognizable, but wow, that's such a good aroma.
I know, right? So what's your score on this one? What do you think?
Wow, I think that I don't know if I can push it to a 3, but it's definitely a 2. So since I have some doubts, I'm going to stick on the 2. But yeah, no, 2 for sure. This is a good beer.
Yeah, you can tell already just from the aroma that this is a good beer. I'm just gonna. It's been open for about a minute. I'm gonna give it a little refresher here, just to activate those aromas. So you mentioned that it's very yeast forward. You're right. I get the banana is very strong for me. That is a big thing in the aroma that I get. Yeah, banana. There's like a sweetness there. For me, it's banana and yeast. And you know what? It dissipates pretty quickly. And that's kind of a downfall of a lot of really good beers for me when it comes to the aroma. I think the perfect aromas are always ones that stick around a little bit. Like, for example, Guinness. That was one of the beers that got the perfect aroma for us, right? And that roasted aroma of Guinness just stuck around for so long as you're drinking it. Every sip that you take, you get that whiff of it. That just added so much to that whole sensory experience. Pilsner Urquell was kind of similar, where you get this really strong burst of aroma that kind of just disappears pretty quickly. And I think that's a little bit of a downfall on this one. And I think that's why it's going to get a 2 on 3 for me as well. I really love that banana, sweet, yeast, clovey, like you said, aroma that you get right away, but then it just it dissipates really quickly. Yeah, and I think for it to be a 3, I would want a little something else in there too. Whether that be a little bit of a toasted aroma. I would need one other element to make it a 3. So 2 on 3 for me too. I'm so curious to taste this one. Let's do it.
Cheers!
Cheers, buddy. I can't believe we've never tried this one. That is good.
How high is the percentage? 8.5?
This is an 8.5% beer. Can you believe that?
No. Oh my god!
That's why it's the devil. It's evil, man. This sneaks up on you. I remember in the lore, in that story of the shoemaker at the round table with all the socialites talking about the beer. That was one of the things. It was just kind of like, this is the evil beer. It's a devil beer. It sneaks up on you. You could drink this all night without realizing it. Before you know it, just be inebriated beyond control. So, and damn, is that true?
Wow. So let's focus here for a second. So taste. I get that sweetness that I had on the nose is a little bit less present on the palate, or at least it's there, but it kind of gets buried by some other things. Acidity slight on the side. It doesn't taste like an 8.5% beer at all, at least on the taste wise. I can barely tell. It tastes like a Pilsner almost.
It does, right? Exactly. Yeah.
And that bitterness comes through and it builds up. Actually, it's quite similar in character to the Urquell in the quality of the hops, in the way the hops are sitting on the tongue. It has that herbal notes, and the bitterness builds up. I honestly I kind of like this. It's pretty nice and balanced. I don't think I'm gonna push it all the way to 3, but 2, yes. I'm gonna stick with the 2 on this on the taste.
The banana that I got in the aroma is really, really prevalent on the taste for me too. Just out of curiosity, a bit of a side note. Do you know what it is in a beer that gives that banana flavor? Because that banana descriptor for taste and aroma is so common. Do you know what that is?
Yes, that comes specifically from the yeast, from the esters that are produced by the yeast. Mm-hmm. Normally, obviously, you find it way more frequently in ales versus lagers, because the yeast that is used in the lager production is activated at a higher temperature, so it produces that kind of esters that include in the descriptors like bananas, cloves. You hear sometimes
Nice. Yeah, so the banana is really forward for me on this one. And then I taste the hops. I get like that bitterness, and it's nice. I like how it starts off a little sweet, and then it just ends bitter on the taste. And that's going to eventually flow into the mouthfeel, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to take one more sip here.
It's taking you on a ride, an adventure.
It is, man. It's taking you on a ride. Oh, wow. This is good. You know what? I'm going to go with a 2-on-3 as well. I like everything that I'm tasting there. I'm torn. I really want to give it a 3 just because it's 8.5% alcohol. And the fact that it tastes like this is incredible, because the alcohol, you don't taste the alcohol at all. You don't get any side effects from a strong beer normally that you do in something that's really unbalanced, where you get that sort of that extra acidity, that extra flavor that comes from that strong alcohol presence. You're not getting that with this. I'm so tempted to bump it up to a 3 because I'm just blown away. I'm amazed at how good this is. But you know, the taste is a little light. There isn't too much there. It's really good, but it's missing a little something. So I'm going with a 2 as well. So that goes right into mouthfeel, actually. So what do you think about that?
So mouthfeel wise, I'm actually quite surprised. It does have like a little bit of that, I don't want to call it stickiness, but oiliness like towards the end.
The oiliness, yeah.
But I love the way that it's when you take the first sip, like it just like flows on your tongue. And considering that it's 8.5%, again, like I am quite impressed. So I would say that on the mouthfeel, I am gonna push it to that 3 because I think it deserves it. Like for how balanced it is, for how different it is compared to other things. Like it's an ale that tastes almost like a Pilsner.
Do you see why this is called the devil now? Every bottle contains just a little bit of the devil waiting to jump on you. You know what? I'm going 3-on-3 as well with the mouthfeel. I love that you get that stickiness, that oiliness that you said, where it coats your tongue and it coats your mouth. You get like the bitterness from the hops, so the bitterness is really, really strong. There's the perfect amount of carbonation. So in your mouth, you're just experiencing that tingling from the bitterness and the carbonation, but it's not overpowering. It's not too much. It's really clean. And then it's just, gone. And it makes you just want to take another sip right away. This is a 3-on-3 mouthfeel for me. Perfect balance of all those things I just mentioned. The finish on this one is pretty amazing. So what do you think about the finish?
First of all, the bitterness that you taste on the palate sticks with you and brings a completely new dimension into the game. And then you start getting those aromas that are lingering, like Joe mentioned, like you have that slightly sweetness, the bitterness obviously that is there is building up. You do have those aromas, bananas that are coming back like slowly and gently. Yeah. And it's just so delicate and powerful at the same time. Like, I mean,
I know, right? I know, that's the perfect way to describe it. Delicate but powerful at the same time.
It's incredible.
Just like
Finish, I'm gonna go with the 3 on this. I really like it. Like, and the more I try it, and the more I like it. So that's a sign of, yes, it deserves a 3.
Yeah, this is a 3-on-3 for me too. For the finish, let me just take, I gotta be a studious reviewer here, and I have to take another sip before talking a little further.
Please. The devil would want that.
The devil would want that. You know, for me on the finish, on the taste, it was the opposite. I started with like those estery flavors you mentioned, getting like the banana and the cloves, and then it went into the bitterness. On the finish, it's the opposite for me. It starts with the bitterness, and then it goes into the sweetness, that banana. I get like a little bit of honey. I get some floral elements, almost like I used this descriptor before, almost like a lilac. That kind of sweet, aromatic, herbal smell, that floral smell of a lilac flower. I compare it to that. You get all those right after the bitterness, and it lingers just enough to enjoy it and to take it all in and to experience it. And then it's just gone, and it's so light, and it just floats away. It's perfect. This is the perfect finish for a beer like this, in my opinion. It is a 3-on-3. Now, overall for the Devil beer, what do you give it?
Well, so I gave it 2, 2, 3, 3. So you're really right there in the middle. Well, I'm torn, but the more I think about it and the more I'm just thinking like this experience is quite incredible. I don't think I've had anything that tastes quite like this before.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a sign of like, well, it's a 3. So I'm going to go with the 3 on this.
It's not quite perfect beer territory. It was almost there. I think this might be the closest thing we've had to a perfect beer, but just missing it so far in our review system. It's a 3 on 3 for me as well overall. As a unique one-off experience, this is incredible. For everything that we just talked about, for this very clean, crisp, unique taste, for the interesting mouthfeel, for the 3 on 3 finish, just the fact that this is 8.5% alcohol and it goes down like a 4.5% Pilsner is mind-blowing. This beer is absolutely the work of the devil. That Dutch shoemaker was not lying. I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. This is so cool. This is the first time that we both got to try, especially a well-known beer like this. Like, this is one of the biggest Belgian beers that there is, and kind of like the flag bearer for Belgian golden ales, as they refer to it as. So it's pretty amazing that neither of us have tried this before, and we got to try it together like this on camera. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
So I like to picture myself at that round table with that Dutch shoemaker, enjoying this beer in the 1920s and cursing it for being the work of the devil. We calculate our overall scores. You saw Alessandro and I gave it the exact same ratings, which doesn't always happen. Only usually happens with the perfect beers. We've wound up with similar scores before, but we got there in different ways. This time it's not that often that we feel the same way all the way through on every category in terms of score, but this comes out to a 4.33 on 5, which in our rating system categorizes it as an outstanding beer, which it is. This was outstanding. Guys, if you have never tried Duvel, I highly recommend that you go and find it. It's pretty accessible anywhere that you can get imported beers, anywhere you can find Belgian beers. It's like Trappist beers. They'll probably have this one as well. Get your hands on it if you can, guys. Let us know what you think down below after you get a chance to give it a try. Do you think it's the work of the devil? Do you think it tastes like a 4.5% beer or an 8.5% beer? You think it's somewhere in between? Did you get caught and wind up drinking 3 or 4 of them without realizing and have yourself a little vision of the devil yourself? Let us know down below what you think. Cheers, everyone. As always, thank you for joining us. Take care. And don't forget to close the beer brackets.
Never forget.